winter of 1887. The blizzard howled through Wyoming territory like a banshee's cry, claiming lives and breaking hearts. At the lonesome train station in Cheyenne, a woman sat frozen on a wooden bench, her breath forming white clouds in the bitter air. She clutched a small leather bag containing everything she owned: $3, a faded photograph, and a heart full of dreams that seemed as cold as the night itself. What happened next would become the most talked-about love story. From the Colorado River to the Canadian border, changing two lives forever and making history in the untamed American West. The wind cut through Cheyenne like a knife through butter that December night. Elizabeth Libby Montgomery pulled her thin shawl tighter around her shoulders, but it did little to keep out the cold.
Her fingers had gone numb hours ago and her lips were turning blue. The last train east had left 3 hours past, and the next wouldn't come until morning if the storm didn't block the tracks. Libby had been a nurse back in Philadelphia working in the charity hospital, where she'd learned to tend wounds, deliver babies, and comfort the dying. But when the scandal broke, when Dr. Harrison tried to force himself on her and she'd fought back, breaking his nose with a bedpan, nobody would believe her word against his. The hospital dismissed her, and word spread through the medical community like wildfire. No respectable hospital would hire her, so she'd taken what little money she had and bought a train ticket west, hoping to find work in one of the mining towns where they were desperate for anyone with medical knowledge. But her money had run out in Cheyenne, and the boarding house had turned her away when she couldn't pay for another night. Now she sat on this hard bench, watching her breath fog in the air, wondering if she'd freeze to death before dawn. Her small leather medical bag sat beside her, the only thing of value she owned, containing her surgical tools, medicines, and the few certificates that proved her training. The sound of horse hooves on frozen ground made her look up. Through the swirling snow, she saw a figure approaching on horseback. The man was large, wearing a heavy coat and wide-brimmed hat pulled low against the wind. As he drew closer, she could see his horse was a magnificent black stallion, and the man's clothes, though practical, were of fine quality. He dismounted and tied his horse to the hitching post, then walked toward the station. His boots were expensive leather, she noticed, and he moved with the confident stride of a man accustomed to having his way. When he pushed through the station door, a gust of wind and snow followed him inside. "Evening, miss," he said, touching the brim of his hat. His voice was deep and warm, with the slight draw of someone who'd spent time in Texas. "Mighty cold night to be sitting out here alone." Libby tried to speak, but her teeth were chattering too hard. She managed a small nod. The man studied her with concerned eyes. He was perhaps 30 years old, with dark hair and a mustache. And despite the rough weather, he was clean-shaven and well-groomed. His face was weathered from years in the sun, but his eyes were kind.